Well, here we are again, everybody, back in Rogue Trader. Funnily enough, I actually made a video on this game back when it first launched. And in case you don't know anything about it, it is an epic, vast CRPG from one of the industry's leading CRPG developers, set in the world of Warhammer 40,000. And it's crazy. I'll explain a lot more about the gameplay as we go through this video because there's a lot going on, but I just wanted to say thank you to Owlcat Games for sponsoring this video and giving me a chance to try the new DLC early. That's right. They have a whole new expansion that adds like another 15 hours of gameplay to the game on top of the 15 from the last expansion too. And they sent it over for me to try early. So thank you. Thank you. I'm spoiled. That being said, as always in my sponsored videos, I always say if I am going to do a video that's sponsored, I need to be allowed to say whatever I want to say, positive or negative, whatever I find. And they agreed to that because they are that confident in what they've put together here. And I can see why. I had a feeling when I asked them, they would be pretty confident. Like, yeah, no, sure. You're not going to find anything you don't like, but sure. Go for it, try. So thank you to Owlcat Games for sponsoring this video. And with that said, let's just get into the nitty gritty details. Okay, let's get into it. If you don't know anything about Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader, it is a story rich CRPG, which just means classical RPG that's set within the world and universe of 40K. It takes place within the Koronus Expanse, a little charted and perilous region of space filled with opportunities for explorers and adventurers alike. You play as a rogue trader and you explore incredible vistas on giant void ships, and you chart a cluster of planets filled with curious enemies, colorful characters, and adventures. This newest expansion, Lex Imperialis, the second major expansion for Warhammer 40K Rogue Trader, puts players into the iron grip of Imperial law. And like I said, it adds another 15 hours of gameplay onto an already pretty robust core game in the base game. There's a lot of content here. And this expansion also introduces the Adeptus Arbites, a faction of incorruptible enforcers, and a new companion, Solomorn Anthar. And of course, you can expect to see cyber mastiffs, cybernetic eagles, depending on how you choose to play, and loads more narrative content for you to sink your teeth into. Seriously, this game is filled to the brim with content. It's kind of insane how much is here. It's wild. I guess it shouldn't come as too much of a surprise though, because it's also, I just totally demolished it. It's also coming from Owlcat Games. Owlcat Games, they made the Pathfinder games. They are like veterans and legends of the CRPG space. They know what they're doing, and it's no surprise here. I mean, they really know what they're doing when it comes to RPG with like consequence, with things like interdialogue, emotional variants with options. Like there's just so much going on here. It's really, really nice. I'm going to be heretical. Skadoosh. They're like, sure, whatever. Go for it. Yeah, I'm probably going to regret that choice. Oh, the blood's pooling. Oh, geez. I feel bad now. No, I don't. I'm fine. But in addition to all of that, the game is also just incredibly deep and complex. There's a lot going on here. This particular save was provided by the devs because it's a really good showcase of some later game stuff within the expansion that I can show you. And as you can see, there's typical stuff you would expect to see within an RPG like this. There's items that have different effects to increase like your armor penetration or reduce what you take. But in addition to all of that, the game is also just an incredibly deep and compelling RPG. As you can see within the game, I have a save file here that was provided by the devs because it shows a little bit later on in the expansion with a particular loadout that will be interesting as I kind of break it down for you. As you would expect with a lot of these games, there's items that can affect different stats, like improving fellowship and intelligence. There's maybe a helmet that might increase different things. And so you can customize your character with that. But then also we have the core characteristics that can be leveled up and skills that also come into play, not just within dialogue, but also within core checks, maybe within gameplay like combat or just while exploring the world. And it all ties in to a cohesive thing that's inspired heavily from the tabletop game, if you happen to play the tabletop version of Warhammer, with things like toughness that you'll recognize, or ballistic skill versus weapons skill. All of that will again feel very, very familiar if you've played the tabletop. But that's the nice thing about like Rogue Trader as a video game, is that it does a great job of introducing new players to the world of 40K. And that's not easy to do. I mean, I love Warhammer. I have the massive statue in the background of course, our favorite Space Marine. I like Warhammer. I play like 5 different armies. I need help. Okay, I get it. But Warhammer is not easy to get into typically. It's very intimidating. There's a lot of lore. There's a lot of complexity with the tabletop game, and the video games are also pretty expansive, let's just say. But this game does a really, really good job of slowly introducing the universe to you through the role of a rogue trader, which also allows you to take sort of a, not quite a totally impartial view within the geopolitical discourse within the universe of 40K, but it allows you to at least look at it from a lot of different angles. And because of how the companions work, as you can see, you might have a Space Marine with you, you might have an Adeptus Arbites, you might have just a Mastiff, a cybernetic Mastiff. Like, you can have all sorts of companions that have all sorts of backgrounds, like this one, an Eldari sharpshooter. Like, it's so cool to see all of these come into play if you play the tabletop, but also if you've never played the tabletop, it also gives you exposure to that and helps you understand it and get to learn it. So whether you ever play the tabletop or not, you can at least get exposed to the universe. I know this is making me sound like a giga nerd, but I mean, I guess I am. So sorry, not sorry. For leveling up characters, you can see here that there's a lot of different things going on here. So for example, if I go soldier for the archetype, your core leveling for each one of the characters, because it's not just the player character, is tied around some of the core like skills that you would expect to see, but they're also tied around abilities. So as you level up, there's going to be new abilities in combat that are consequential. Like, this is not one of those CRPGs where you work really hard, you level up, and then you get like a 0.025% damage increase on critical hits when you are running and sliding at the same time. And so you never really feel like you're making progress or leveling up or anything. It's just like technically better, but it doesn't feel better, you know? With the leveling system in Rogue Trader, it makes a difference. It really does. And that follows over to everything else. You have reputations to consider when you're going through the core campaign and the expansions. Your choices in dialogue, your choice to randomly kill NPCs, all of that has a major impact on the outcome of the story and what's available to you, you know? And as you can see here, you can see the history, the biography of your character, where you can see kind of where you are. Similar to like Red Dead 2 with the honor scale, you can kind of see whether you're going radical or Puritan. You can see your choices. This is one of my favorite things. I don't know why more games don't do this, why more RPGs don't do this, but they show you a list of all the choices you made on this save that contributed to your reputations being the way that they are. Again, why don't more games just show that to you? It's so cool because you can read through this again and be like, oh yeah, I did save the burnt man. Oh yeah, that makes sense why it would help that stat. Okay, yeah, oh yeah, you're totally right. I led the people out of the fire trap, refusing Theodora's help. Oh yeah, that's a plus 15 to Iconoclastic. Yeah, that makes sense. Like, it's great. Why don't more games do this? I swear. It's great. And dude, seriously, there's so much here. Like, there's ship battles. If you want to do turn-based ship battles, you can do that. Like, if you want to go and do turn-based combat, basically similar to the tabletop, where you're moving pieces around carefully, positioning very carefully, using and stacking abilities and skills for each character onto each other, you can do that. This particular mission, I am caught in space and I'm being hunted down. I may regret charging straight forward, but I guess I'm in too deep. Okay, I'm gonna have to take care of this before we continue filming. BRB, sorry fam. Okay, we're good. I popped over to another save as well, so we can look at this. This is just like a little peek at the sheer scope and scale of the game. I was like, oh, I want to show like maybe a quick combat sequence, but then I realized, oh, this is a good indicator of just like what we're dealing with. Okay, so this gives you a little idea. When combat kicks off, basically you get a chance, based on how everybody's arranged to then go and kind of set up for battle. You can change how the party moves through the environment when you are clicking on like where to place them by swapping the formation, and then you can even customize it if you want. So if you want to like have your guy start or be in the back, you can do that. If you want to just travel in a clump, you can do that. If you have something really, really unique you want to do, you can make it happen based on the character builds and loadouts and stuff that you have. So maybe you have one character that's all about charging up front in the middle, so you have them there. Then you have some ranged people that are going to stay in the back and shoot, so you can pull those back. And then maybe you've got some people that are more support characters and are good in the center, so you maybe put those guys there. You can customize it however you want. It's awesome. Again, why don't more games do this with like fully customized layouts for formations? It's super, super cool. But anyway, we're in too deep now. We've got a setup. So I'm just gonna throw some characters kind of scattered around based on their particular proclivities for battle. I'm not gonna hide behind the explosive barrel. That's probably a bad idea. And then once you've set it up the way you like, you hit start battle, and then you're good to go. So they have the turn order listed over here on the left. You have all of your abilities broken down here, and it's based similarly to the tabletop around action points. It's based around movement points as well, determining how far you can go on each turn. You also, of course, have your total wounds, which is just a fancy word for health, and they break down how that's calculated there. And you can, of course, learn all of the hotkeys if you so desire for all of these, and you can pop them up and you can read through these abilities if you're not familiar. Chances are, if you played the base game, you'll be pretty familiar with it. But even for a new player, if you want to know what voice of command does, you can just hover over it, look through officer forces and ally, they fully push themselves, increasing their characteristics by plus 18 for a round. And additionally, all of the officer's abilities can be applied to the target of voice of command from any distance. Ooh, a character who becomes the target of this ability cannot be targeted by this ability for another 2 rounds. Okay, boom, makes sense. So then you can just apply that as you would see fit. It's really quite intuitive, and this is just, again, it's why this is such a solid CRPG, whether you're like new to these types of games or not, because they've taken the time to actually add in this information, so it doesn't feel like you have to watch 15 videos on how to play the game before just playing it. You know, you can just play it. What's also kind of fun is that a lot of these abilities are shared with like the tabletop, so you can use an ability like Bring It Down, which is something you'll recognize from the tabletop if you have played it. And there's a lot of crossover here, which is just kind of a fun little Easter egg touch, whatever, if you've played that. But like for this guy, I can use the shotgun, and you can see it kind of has a spread pattern, but because my little doggy is here, he's also going to suffer the effects of that, because everything in this game is reactive to itself and to each other. So you have to be aware of where your like teammates are placed when you take shots like this, because friendly fire is on, my friends. Double slug here. I can look at this if I want to just, you know, launch a slug into this guy. Let's try that. He's behind cover, so he gets the benefit of it, but I may still get lucky. Oh, there you go. He's down. That'll do. Even after that, though, I still have some abilities left, so I'm going to pop this one to send out my Mastiff to an enemy that I can see. And in this case, I'm going to send him off to the sharpshooter so he can tie them up, and hopefully they don't get shots off on me. Can't quite get there, but hopefully he'll be able to stop them soon enough. Dude, I also forgot how good late game characters are. Like, I booted this up on my Steam Deck on the flight actually to Summer Games Fest, because I was like, oh, I'm gonna get the chance to play the DLC early. I should get refreshed. So I did that, but because I was on a plane, I didn't have Wi-Fi to like download my previous save. So I just started a new game. And so prior to this, like my last time playing the game was a very early, you know, save, just a handful of hours. And so seeing again what these guys are able to do is just crazy. Once you felt the power of Endgame's characters, it's kind of hard to go back, honestly. It's like, oh yeah, oh They can do so much damage, it's crazy. But I guess that's a good moment to mention. Yeah, it does run on the Steam Deck. It's fully supported and it actually runs quite well. So if you're interested in that, you can check it out. It's one thing they've improved a lot since launch, actually, is the support for like controllers. And of course, that's helpful playing on the go, whether you're playing ROG Ally or Steam Deck, Legion Go, what have you. So it's definitely worth checking out if you do not have that. The Eldari specifically, they are an army all about shooting. I actually have an Eldari army in my glass cases in the other room. And so I like the Eldari. Some people call them Eldar. It's, you know, tomato, I guess. Before you come at me, I know it's not literally tomato. You know what I mean, okay? Like, lay off me. We're making a video, okay? Chill. But because they are a snipey group, they can do all sorts of crazy stuff with their sniper rifles and stuff. So I'm gonna try, you know, I'm gonna go for this guy. He's got the benefit of cover, but I'll try it. Nope, didn't matter. Oh, baby. Oh, there you go. Okay, now we're on our melee boy. And for this, I popped an ability that is Reckless Strike. It gives me better armor penetration, damage, and ignores a good chunk of their parry. But if an enemy survives this, they will actually attack in return. So they'll be able to get a clap back if you don't take them out, which is fair. I do have a slash, which basically deals... You can like set it up like this so you can hit 2 targets with 1 attack. Oh, pop. And that works pretty well. We can also go with like a charge. And in this case, I'm too close, but I may be able to, is it this? Skadoosh, yeah. I blew myself up, but it's okay. This particular encounter, like super overpowered for it, frankly. You know, most combat will not go this smooth. It will require more thought. I just happen to have loaded a save that is very, very OP for this particular encounter. But hopefully, like, you're getting an idea of how this works. There are certain characters you're going to need to position very carefully who have different abilities that, you know, work better with others. And all sorts of different enemies will have different abilities. There's big bosses, there's big encounters throughout various points in the story. And if you're still not like getting the challenge you want, you can just go into the settings and they have a ton of customization here. If you want to just go straight unfair, you can do that. But even then, if you're like, no, I want half cover hit bonus. I want to crank that. Enemy unit dodge modifier. Yeah, make them dodge me way more often. Space combat. I want it on hard. I want number of injuries received before becoming a trauma. How many times is it stacked? 10 times. Like, if you want to just crank it, go crazy, you can do that. And they let you. And it's cool. And I appreciate that. You know, I love super customizable difficulty sections. I think it's cool. So long as the game has been balanced around some predetermined thing, I'm happy. If they balanced it around normal, okay. Everything else I can tweak, I can customize to my heart's content. You know, as long as you've balanced it around something, that's what I'm asking for. But as you can probably tell, I'm kind of losing my voice a little bit, so I don't want to push it too much. Ooh, I parried it. Sucks to suck, dude. See, and then I get my immediately clap back, chopped him in half because I parried it, and yeah, he's gonna regret that. I got my Mastiff over here. What's he gonna do? Oh no, they stabbed my dog. We got Ellie over here. Not the TV show one, the other real one. Charge up there. I love that this guy can move so much. I don't even care about the trip mine, dude. I've got 108 wounds. This ain't nothing on me. Ooh, Grisly Adjudication. Look at this. Look at this monstrosity. Look at this. Can I put it up? Dude, again, endgame characters. Oh, it's a fun change of pace after going back and starting a new save. Yeah, you gotta love it. Good job, Solomorn. Good job. Anyway, there's a lot more with Rogue Trader that I haven't even gotten into, such as the fact that they have full co-op support for up to 6 people. They have, of course, more expansions that they've announced that are coming, and the game just keeps getting better and better and better. Like at launch, people were like, hey, we have some notes. They threw those notes out. They fixed it all. They've added tons more stuff. It's wild. It really is becoming the definitive like Warhammer game. If you want to get into the lore, this game is phenomenal for that. And it's also just a fantastic CRPG. There's so much depth here. It's insane. Plus, the game is also a part of the Steam summer sale. So if you want to get into it and even just check it out, you can do that at a good steep discount, no doubt, for Steam Summerfest. So go check it out right now. Links in the description box below. Check them out. They deserve your attention. The game is great. Again, they said I could say whatever I want, positive or negative. I just happen to really like the game and think it's really good, and you should play it. If you doubt me, I've been talking on the stream about this game for like, what, a year or two? Every time people are like, hey, I'm interested in Warhammer. What should I check out? I always say Rogue Trader. It's really, really good, and I highly recommend it. So go check it out. Steam Summer Sale. Add it to your wish list if you can't get it right now. It's worth following up on. The game is really good. Again, it's just really good. It's really good. That's what I'm saying. But that's going to do it for me. Thank you for watching. I love you all desperately, and I'll see you in the next video. Hugs and kisses, my friends. Bye-bye.